Hey Simmers and animal lovers, it's Erin the Rescue Simmer, and I believe that pets make my life better, so I wanted to go ahead and give every household in The Sims that did not have a pet the pets that they deserved. And all through the month of October, we are going to be focusing on our spookier households, which is why we are in Stangerville today, because honestly, what better time to go ahead and take a peek on the residents and give them their animals, if not Halloween. So we are going to be taking a look at a couple of households here and then popping over to another town to take a look at one of the families that you guys have suggested. Very first and foremost, if you don't know the story of Stangerville, I will give you an overview without trying to give any spoiler alerts if you have not played it before. Stangerville is modeled after the American town of Roswell, New Mexico. Area 51 is there. There's a lot of alien sightings. That's a whole big tourist thing. We have the secret lab that is affecting this little arid town. Very first and foremost, I wanted to go ahead and peek in on the Roswell household. The Roswells are the oldest residents of Stangerville. Ted Roswell has since become the mayor and has been aggressively pushing to get Stangerville to be more technologically advanced. He's made some shady deals, but his crowning achievement has been the construction of Crater Base and the secret lab. Ted's wife Meredith has been noticing him acting very strange at night. It might have something to do with his frequent visits to the secret lab to try to cover things up. So that is a really spooky, kind of unsettling story. So I thought that they would be perfect for Halloween themed video. So we have Ted. I love he and Meredith's Western themed outfits. He has that cowboy hat in most of his outfits. That is an interesting Speedo. And this little bolo here that is very Southwestern US. So his lifetime aspiration is to be fabulously wealthy. He is business savvy. He's evil. He's paranoid. And he's hot-headed. Paranoid is a trait that came with the Stangerville pack. So here is Miss Meredith. She is dressed to match her husband's style, but she's a little bit brighter, maybe a little bit more modern than Ted is. Now, she also has the aspiration to be fabulously wealthy, but she is outgoing, she's a good sim, and she's neat. So maybe where her husband is a little bit lacking or unpredictable in his personality, she kind of smoothed things over for him. Now, we won't do an overview of their house, but if you've ever seen it, it is conspicuously empty, like creepily empty. Now, Ted just seems like a more grizzled, kind of hardworking sim. He has made some shady deals, but he seems like an old-fashioned kind of guy. So I think definitely for Ted, I would like to add a dog. This guy seems almost perfect. This is a mixed breed dog, and honestly, I don't know that Ted would really go for that. He would probably be more into a purebred, something like an Australian cattle dog who is going to be taking a poo because they have the troublemaker trait. They automatically come in with the troublemaker trait. Let's get rid of that actually for him. Okay, great. So now Pupper will not be using the bathroom every 5 minutes. This is a really interesting coat color. It's a little bit muted, kind of like Ted. Now, what kind of cattle dog would Ted Roswell want? So he's an evil sim. I hate to do this to any animal, but since he's like business savvy, he's evil, he's a little bit paranoid, I think he would want a pet that would be a little bit more protective or possessive over him. So we're going to give him the aggressive trait. Breaks my heart to do it. Now, with his other traits, I think he would certainly want a sleuth, being paranoid. So he would want a dog that was interested in looking into everything so that maybe he didn't have to. And certainly a loyal animal, I think, would be right up Ted's alley. Now, this is a male dog. I'm going to agree with that. And Ted would name him something like Jack. Jack the cattle dog. So this is Jack Roswell. I don't know about you guys, but I think Ted would probably keep an inside-outside dog. Probably mostly outside. He was probably raised, I envision him being raised on like a farm where dogs were kept kind of in the barn or maybe right outside in a dog house. So let's see. I absolutely think that Ted would give his dog a bandana. Nothing as restrictive as a collar, but definitely something to claim ownership. Oh, I love this Western themed one. That's perfect. All right, so Jack Roswell, there you are. And I don't know that Meredith, being the outgoing, good, neat sim that she is, I mean, she would get along with Jack and she would love Jack, but I don't think that that's her speed. I actually foresee a cat for Meredith. A calico. That's perfect. So calicos to me just say, I don't know what about them. It says like farm, says country, and we actually have a choice of some coats here. So I want to see what strikes me. You know what? I think that this is perfect. Meredith would for sure want a friendly cat. Somebody who is affectionate with her. It sounds like Ted goes off quite a bit, so she would want somebody at home just to be her little buddy. And I for sure think that Meredith would spoil her little kitty baby. Now, let's see. What do we have here? This is a male. I think Meredith would have a female cat, and her name would be something super obvious like Callie. Callie the Calico. Callie Roswell. Perfect. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what kind of collars, what kind of clothing we would give to Callie. As much as I think Callie would be spoiled, I want to go ahead and just put a cat in some of these clothes. I think that's adorable, but I don't think that Meredith would be the one to do it. But I think Meredith could definitely do a bow. That is super cute. It's a pink bow. I wonder, would she try to color coordinate it to herself? I think so. So here are our beautiful Roswell family. Miss Meredith just trying to hold it together. Mr. Ted getting into all of his mischief. And their pets there to help them out. The next household that I want to bring us to is the Cahill household. George Cahill was a retired pilot who enjoyed taking his beloved plane Penelope for long flights across the world. After passing over Stangerville, there was a large flash of light causing his plane to short circuit and crash. George has since put up camp in the cargo bay of Old Penelope and has lived on the outskirts of Stangerville ever since. Although he has grown skeptical of the residents of Stangerville, he means no harm and mostly keeps to himself. So if ever I have heard the story of a man that needs a pet, this is it. This guy is on his own, living by himself, would absolutely benefit from a pet. Now we're going to cut this guy a break because, again, he's been on his own for a while and he suffered a crash quite a bit ago that it doesn't sound like he's dealt with, so his personality has kind of taken a left turn. His lifetime aspiration is he wants to be a public enemy, and he has the dastardly trait. Because of it, he is paranoid, as you do in Stangerville. He is active, and he's hot-headed. So I think I want to get him a dog, but maybe not the dog that you would be thinking of. Originally, I was thinking of something like a German Shepherd or something really tough like a Rottweiler, something like that to keep him company. But the more I was thinking about it, the more I thought a small dog might do really well with him. So, and don't hate me for this, I'm thinking a Chihuahua would be perfect for him. These are guys that tend to really pick their people. They're very loyal to their people. So I like to think that George feels maybe wronged by everybody else, doesn't have much patience for everyone else, and thinks that they want the worst for him. But he saw this little guy wandering around in the desert somewhere, and it just melted his little heart. And now he only has eyes for his little Chihuahua. I'm going to give him a nice brown, kind of a chocolatey. And let's see, what kind of traits would Mr. George need for his little sweetheart? I definitely don't think he needs an aggressive dog. Sounds like George is adverse enough to people. I think vocal is something that he would absolutely appreciate so that his dog could alert him when people come up. And George has the active trait, so I definitely want to get his Chihuahua the active trait as well. And I will say that generally Chihuahuas are incredibly loyal little dogs. Alrighty, so this is a male. I think that George should have a female dog, and I think that he would name it Penelope. After his plane, maybe it's because she's small, maybe because he is just so gruff, but I think that he would have a dressed up little Penelope. Like, he would give her all the love that he gives his plane, but his plane can't give him kisses back for. I'm loving purple on her, like this hot pink or purple. And we definitely want a dress. That looks so cute and country. I love that. All right, so maybe the bow's a bit much, you guys. Yeah, I think the bow is a bit much. We'll just leave it with her cute little purple collar and matching little country dress. I think that's adorable. Oh my gosh, look at that, you guys. We have our little Penelope and George Cahill. And that is exactly how I imagine them together. This is all of the families that we've done so far. If you missed the last episode, I will put it in a card somewhere around the video. Go ahead and click on that. It'll queue up right after this one is done. But for now, let's go ahead and go on over to Del Sol Valley. So I had a comment from Eve last video that we should do one of the famous households from Del Sol Valley. And oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So really we have a choice of the Bailey Moons and Miss Ward. So Judith Ward is a legend in the acting community. She has starred in everything from comedies to dramas. You name it, Judith Ward has played the role. That is not to say that she's an easy person to befriend. Judith has burned her fair share of bridges along the way. Her mentality is to get rich at all costs. She will be the first to throw you under the bus to advance her career. She's been married several times, but all of her partners have only slowed her down. She prefers to live fast and does not settle for mediocrity. I love her story. I know it's an awful story. I mean, she's a terrible sim, but I can see her pets. So let's take a look at the Bailey Moons. Octavia Moon and Thorne Bailey are the power couple of the century. Octavia is a lyrical genius behind all of Thorne's greatest hits. Due to Thorne's most recent mishap on social media, his public image has started to falter. His fans are starting to realize that Octavia is the real talent. Orange is their good-natured son, but due to his entire life of wanting for nothing, he's also a bit naive. I can see their pet too, but let's be honest. I think of the two households, I think that Judith needs a pet. Look at Miss Judith. She just screams old Hollywood, what Marilyn Monroe, I think, kind of would have grown into as far as looks. She's just one of those like cutthroat gatekeepers of the industry, I'm guessing. So taking a look at her wardrobe, definitely money and old glitz and glamour are all throughout it. Her aspiration is to be a mansion baron. And of course, she's business savvy. She's a snob, she's materialistic, and she's a mean streak. So this is not an awesome sim. This is a sim really that only a pet could love. I want to get her a dog. Not just a dog. I want to get her a couple of dogs. Now, the size dog that I am going with is not because I think one thing or another of those kinds of dogs, but because I think one thing or another of Judith Ward. I think that Judith Ward feels like a smaller dog means less responsibility. She's wrong, but I think that she feels like it means less walks, less training, all of those things. And I think that she would definitely want something uber expensive, very exclusive. I think that she would want dogs that she felt like would add to her status and that would be great photo ops, like little bag dogs. Papillon is a good choice. There's this little guy, a Pomeranian. This is the type of dog that I'm going for, but this is just such a sweet little face. I can't do that to them. I also think that Pomeranians are a little too common for Judith really to sniff at. Maybe a Pekingese? I don't know. Those are fairly common as well. Ooh, a King Charles Spaniel. Those are adorable dogs. Look at those eyes. I think that they would be cute enough that they would make enough people really wish that they had one. And they're definitely purse-sized. Or they can be. This is a female. I think definitely the ones with the little eyebrows are cute. This little tricolor. What traits? I think, definitely jumpy, because I think that Judith has a flair for the dramatic, and certainly with something like that, I think that it definitely could make a dog pretty jumpy. I think they're active little guys. They just are. Honestly, Judith would let her dogs get stubborn. I just think so. I don't think that she would put much effort into training them. Now, for sure, this dog is going to be dressed to the nines. Oh, that is adorable. Oh my gosh. Okay, so cute little red bow, because Judith, yes. And a little polka dot red dress. Oh my gosh. Yes, bright red is definitely where it's at. Ooh, but this is, that definitely has a richer kind of feel for me. Oh, and a collar. We cannot forget a collar. I don't see anything like diamond studded, which is a missed opportunity, but I do see this. I know they're spikes, but they're the closest thing that we have to like rhinestones. Her beautiful designer dress. And I think honestly, she would name her dog something pretentious, just oozing quality. And just to give people maybe a hint of how much she spent on it, definitely a purebred. So her name would be Victoria Ward. Okay, perfect. And then her next dog is also going to be a King Charles Spaniel, but this time he'll be a red. His name is Albert, like Prince Albert. I think that Albert would definitely be vocal and stubborn, of course, but ooh, we're going to make him active as well. So they'll both have the active trait because I don't think Judith did any research other than how exclusive and how expensive they were. We for sure need a bow tie for Prince Albert. Yeah, anything that I'm getting is just like, well, that's an option. I was going to say it's too relaxed. Yes, this is definitely our look. I went ahead and changed his bow tie because I definitely think that Judith would have some fashion sense. Heck, she would probably have a stylist just for her dogs. Now, if you can see, we also have some puppies here because I 100% do not believe that Judith would have put any more thought into this other than how much money these dogs were, how exclusive they were, and how good they made her look. I don't think that she would spay or neuter her pets. I think that she would have something with show quality bloodline, not because she meant to do the work to show them, but simply because they were there to prop her up. And I think that male and female dogs are going to do what male and female dogs are going to do, and that they would have little puppies. So I think that these would be an oops litter that she would go ahead and spin and try to make some massive buck off of. So here we go. We have Elizabeth Ward, who I just randomized the traits of. We have Frederick Ward, and we have Edward Ward. So these are all named after royals because I definitely think that that is the direction that Judith would want to go. Judith is still going to be wandering aimlessly around the world because of all the bridges she has burned with all of the Sims, but at least now she's got some very cute little dogs to go home to if only she wants to invest in them. Thank you guys so much for watching this series with me. I am having a blast. If you have any suggestions about which households you want to see next, go ahead, pop them down in the comments. If this is a video that you liked, hit that like button. If you are seeing a lot of my content and you're liking it, consider hitting that subscribe. I am so looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Happy simming!